Anybody else?
Yeah,
I know.
You get it one at a time,
let me just say one
okay?
thing.
No noise.
State
If
your
there's
name.
gonna be noise or something, I'll go, okay, you're gonna speak for a little while, that's fine, okay? The meeting gets out of hand, I adjourn the meeting.
I just have one comment, Joe Teeny,
Joe, go
and
ahead.
I just have one comment to what you said. The issue is not whether you like it or not, the issue is the zoning. And this will get challenged in court because the zoning we have is not exclusionary, and that's the issue. So as a council, you should have been voting on exclusionary and not whether or not you want the plan or not. And that's what the issue is, and that's what I think was missed by this council.
Joe, we didn't want some meeting.
No, my issue is the vote is on whether it's exclusionary for the M2 zone,
I understand what you're saying.
not the M1. It's not whether or not I like it, it's what the zoning is.
I understand what you're saying.
That's right.
Alright, now, this won't be a power plant question, so you're off the hook there.
Can I
But,
have your name, please?
Ronnie Cavallari, 803 Martin Drive. Now, I live next door to Ronnie and Julie Armazzani. I don't see them here, but they're on 801 Martin Drive. And all this thought of sewers struck a chord in my brain. It's to my understanding that my sewer line, when the houses were built in the late 70s, I live downtown, that my house along with the Armazzanis share the same sewer line. Is that a legal practice?
That was up to the developer who did that, to push your two lines together.
I know, but was it legal back
Had
then?
nothing to do with the borough. Okay, when you bought your lot and built the house and put the sewer, the developer put the sewer in. The borough did nothing to do with the sewer line except that developer.
Okay, so every time there's a problem, and I'll be honest, it's not my house, it's Ronnie or Julie's. There's always a big fiasco over that house. So that's not the borough's responsibility in the lease.
No, the responsibility is if you got a block sewer, we'll come and clean it out.
And Joel does that, and he does, I don't know where he went, but Joel comes every time it's a problem, but there's no way that that could be fixed permanently?
No, because we didn't have that many problems up there.
Ronnie, is there any easements in your deed? Did
He
you
just
look
had
at
his sewer block.
Research your deed to see if there was
He did.
a sewer easement agreement for shared maintenance or shared?
I honestly didn't look, and I never asked Ronnie or Julie if they looked.
You gotta first look to see if that's the case.
And what if it's not there?
It's not that uncommon. Today, by regulations today, it wouldn't be allowed. Every structure needs its own connection, but back in the day,
In the late 70s?
oh yeah, a lot of older homes in the older part of Jessup that have shared lines. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check the deed, and I'll ask Ronnie and Julie.
I find it hard to believe, well, the early nineties,
The house was built in the late 70s, not the early 90s.
zoning only went into the nineties for the most part.
Okay, I'll check with Ronnie and Julie, thank you.
Helen Sebastianelli, Buttonwood Street.
I'm trying to get your.
Helen Sebastianelli. My question is for council. It's been established that 2012 was the year that Invenergy came. According to a quote from Mr. Finucci, Invenergy has been before council a zillion times since 2012. Why is it that the taxpayers that live in this town vote for you people were not aware of this until last November, when a piece was in the newspaper about that big? And then when we came forward, we had meetings, and many of you were at those meetings, and the questions were asked, why didn't we know about it? The answers were, oh, this is all new to us. So zillions of times in 2012, this is now 2015, and the taxpayers are just learning about this massive project, now others tonight, that is going to change the entire face of this town. You know, I taught the environment for 30 years, and I used to put it as simply as possible to my students. When you replace soil and earth with concrete and pavement, where does the water go?
In your house.
So my advice is going to be, the uptowners are going to need boats and flood insurance. They're not going to be able to afford the flood insurance.
That's right.
The whole perimeter of this town has water problems. We all know it. We've been coming since January now. I hear about the Sterry Creek and Lane Street. I hear about the Grassy Island Creek. I hear about Hill Street. And now we're going to undertake massive projects. And the townspeople that live here, that sweat out their lives, We have an aging system, our pipes, our sewers, we're always getting letters from the water company and the sewer company. Oh, please buy the insurance because you're going to be responsible. What about us? What about us? Do you care about any of us? Not these phantom people that are not anywhere near here. We don't even know who they are. What about the people you have to see, that you live with every day? Please, stop and think and consider. If you've had this since 2012, all I could say is, wow. I'm not impressed. I'm saddened.
Anybody else?
Thanks, Sandy Dubas. I have just one question. Everybody's in a mood anyhow. But listen, how come they changed the color of the Jessup police cars? Are Jessup's colors is green and white?
What color you want?
They changed the colors of police cars.
No reason.
But why?
No reason.
Why?
When you get the cars itself there, it's done years ago. Okay, we just changed the colors.
Yeah, but shouldn't we have had something to say about it?
No.
Why? Really?
I think we're saving too much money everything. We did the police cars, the chief wanted them done that way, we did them that way years ago.
Wow.
And we just kept going and did the same thing with the new cars.
I think it's a disgrace. Our colors are green and white.
We just got our new truck, it's put together the same way as the other trucks are lettered.
Yeah, that's not right, though. I just want to voice my opinion. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
that's fine, that's what it is. Everybody else?
Joyce Pavlin, 407 Fourth Avenue. I'm a little leery about this Ray Angeli business. I'm an alumni of Lackawanna. Actually, me and my friend started the first alumni group in Lackawanna Junior College. And actually, Ray ended up disbanding it after,
It was Diane Mello who
Yeah.
started it.
yeah, Diane and I started it. And it got disbanded after certain circumstances. All of a sudden, Invenergy is getting a scholarship which is worth X amount of dollars for environmental purposes. I find that strange, and he's going to write a grant for us that he could have. Why didn't somebody come up with this grant 3 or 4? Why did Ray Angeli come up with this grant 3 or 4 years ago? And say, people in Jessup are having a problem. Well, actually, he doesn't live in Jessup. He's going to build in Jessup. And I think you people should look at that a little bit more. Like, we need a gaming commissioner, an ex-gaming commissioner to write a grant for us. Nobody up on this panel, or Ricky, you can't write, we can't get somebody to write a grant?
It's more that I understand, Joyce, that his interest would be, he's looking to put in this development.
Yes.
Now,
But
we
you
haven't,
want
we
that
haven't,
said.
yeah, he's going forward with it. Jane, I don't even think we have received plans yet, I don't.
Nothing,
It's
just
nothing.
preliminary discussion.
But I understand from talk, it's coming, and it'll go through the whole, course. But, his engineers, Mr. Walsh included, know that he's not gonna get to first base with that, knowing that there's that line needs to be increased. It's been something that I guess our engineers have been talking about for a long time, especially in that area that Joe referenced before. So I'm guessing that he's kind of looking ahead of the game. I'm not defending him, I'm not speaking for him. I'm just telling you what I know as to what, if you're asking what could his motivation be in doing this, that's what I was
All
told.
of a sudden,
I
Hey,
think
you're
it's
you're
more.
free to question anybody's motive
Well, and I
anytime.
think on the record, if I may, Janine Powell on 407, to follow up what my mother's saying, Ray Angeli is gonna have to come before the planning board and come before this council to ask for approval. It's the suggestion, he's writing a grant for Jessup to fix our infrastructure. Is it contingent? So when he comes before you and he reminds you, hey, I got you free gaming money, I'm a former gaming commissioner, I wrote that grant for free for you, the appearance of impropriety alone.
Janine, he's
And
doing it,
that's what we're questioning.
just for the record, my understanding is he's doing it in conjunction with Slipco. It's not just him. Because the two of them have, it's
The
a
two of them
common.
have business before this council.
Yeah.
Right, so he's getting you money and you're.
Taxpayer money.
Projects.
Anybody else?
Tim Siemens,
Mark, come in
401.
the, Mark, come in the room, please.
Sorry, I didn't hear the name.
Tim
Mark, come in the
Siemens,
room.
Jim, he's on.
401 Clarkson Avenue. If there's, my son spoke at the last meeting, he was 17 yet, but I was very proud of him coming out. And there were a few people here that have managed to stay that long. I've recently had spinal surgery, so I'm not overly coherent, but I have 4 children. I've lived in the community since 2000, and I'm a transplant, but my wife was born and raised here. Won't name her name because I don't have agreement from all of our family members, but it's just a disgrace that you would even consider to bring this plant so close. I'm not opposed to a facility like that somewhere, but to have it so close to a residential area is a disgrace, and knowing what's gonna be pumped in the air. And I have 2 kids that are small that do not need to be exposed to all of the toxins that are gonna be dumped in there. I mean, if it actually goes through, which it reeks of I don't wanna use the word, but you know what it reeks of, and which looks like the shit is rolling downhill. So you might as well tell Invenergy to name it Godzilla, because it'll be the fire-breathing dragon on the hill, and when they sound the alarms, when the toxins are way beyond acceptable levels, then they could play these theme songs for the movie Godzilla. But it's not There Goes Tokyo, it'll be There Goes Jessup.
Anybody else?
Jerry Cronulla. Just have to say, you guys are moving way too fast. I was here Thursday speaking to you guys, and we all heard that we're introduced to this grant and we're already jumping on it. We're desperate for stuff. But you know what? If it's a great deal, it'll be a great deal tomorrow, and it'll be a great deal next month, next year. You don't have to jump on it. And Rick, a comment for you. Thursday you kept saying, rest assured, this is a small step, and there's other hurdles that we have to get past. But I've got to remind every one of you, I've heard many times since this started. Good example is the Lackawanna Planning Commission. I've heard a lot of comments. Lackawanna Planning approved this. Why shouldn't we approve it? Lackawanna County approved it. Why does Jessup not want to approve it? So every hurdle that you let them get past is more fuel that they have to get past the next one. You cannot wait until the last hurdle to stop them, if in fact that is your intention. You have to stop this early on. Last comment about zoning. Zoning should be the last thing that's ever changed. We have invested our lives and our money in this town. We, the people here, not the people from Clark Summit, from Scranton, from the unions, except for Jeff lives in Jessup, we know that. We've invested in this town. You change the zoning, you are changing our lives. Is this exclusionary? As Joe said, it is not exclusionary, our zoning. You can build a smaller plant. No, we cannot build a 1,500 megawatt plant in the M2 zones. But guess what? Jessup does not have to build a 1,500 megawatt plant. As Mabel said, everybody thinks this is Jessup's problem. Why does Jessup have to supply 750,000 homes electricity? We don't. A small plant of 25 megawatts is going to power almost 40,000 homes. We don't have that many 40,000 homes here. So slow down and think about us, the people of this town, not the unions, no one else. We are the ones who are paying the taxes here. That is a tax-free zone. We're the ones that are supporting this town, not them.
I would like to say something in regard to the zoning. I'm in Jessup, I'll be in Jessup 81 years next month, on the same street. I was in a residential area all my life until a couple years ago. When they changed the zoning, I now live not in a residential area. I live in an industrial area because you changed the zoning for some people. I'm not against anybody having jobs. It's wonderful. But you don't know what it's like to have these tractor trailers coming back and forth, smelling that gas, the diesel from these trucks.
They don't care.
But you have to live it to know it.
That's right.
I
have no idea what you guys are thinking up there.
I just wanted to make a follow-up comment to some comments that were made tonight about,
Please address.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And it's kind of answering on behalf of council, but I just can't sit here hearing some of what I'm hearing, and it's not fair. And that is, at what point did everyone know about this proposed Invenergy project? And, you know, Rick, you mentioned that was back in 2012, it was around that time period. And everyone says, well, we didn't know about it since November. Well, that's because that's when the newspaper kind of took hold of it. And that's when really everyone started becoming aware of it and became involved, and more people were coming to meetings. But a few years ago, I was in this room when Invenergy came here. I was in here with all of you. And, no offense to the rest of the citizens in our town, but there are very few people who are here at monthly meetings. I've been coming for the last almost 5 years now. Just because I care.
We're here now.
But I know, and that's fine.
We're here now.
Because this is important.
I mean, I care about the town just like everyone else does.
I guess you don't.
Yeah.
But I have been here and I listen to them come in. So if the only way for us to know about things that happen in this town is if they do come to the meetings. That's our way of learning, and that's how I learn.
I'll be here.
We'll be here.
Why did we have to wait for the newspaper to tell us? Well, I'm sorry, look at, I don't want to hear.
My point is just that if more citizens came to the meetings every month, they would know a lot more of what's happening, as opposed to letting the paper take hold of it. And that's fine, that's a way for everyone to know. But you can get it firsthand by coming to these meetings, and that's why I'm here. Because I want to hear from you what's happening, I don't want to read it or hear it from someone else. So we are all, that you could come every month to the work session. On Thursdays, you could come to the monthly meeting on following Mondays and learn about what's happening in the town.
We'll be here.
Thank you.
Stop it. We'll be here to stop it.
I'm gonna reply to that. And I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna stand here with egg on my face because I wasn't here back then.
Because you didn't know about it.
Right. But here's the thing. We came out and we organized fast in January. And since that time, you've met with Invenergy, as Mr. Finucci said, zillions of times. You've sat down with us 0 times and had an honest discussion.
That's right.
Okay? You had an engaged public who came out for this, and you had an opportunity with us all here to actually start putting a town together with active people who actually care about what's going on. I wasn't here. That's my fault when I was here before that, but we're here now. And what I'm getting is a very resistant response to the questions we had. This has gotten more and more toxic. We ask questions all the time. We get brush-off answers. We don't get honest discussion. We want to know. We want to know what do you feel about this stuff. You don't know. You're quiet. Why do you want a power plant? Why do you want to hit a home run and make the biggest power plant in the state on your first one? What? We don't get any of that. So yes, we could have known if we were here in the beginning, but we've been here for 8 months and we still don't know. We still don't really understand what motivates your decision-making process. We still don't know where this is going. You have an engaged public on both sides of the argument at times. Why do we not ever sit down and discuss this? They're all here now. If we can move forward at the end of this as a town, who can actually make decisions together. But instead, we walk out of these meetings feeling like it's you guys against us. And I don't think that's what you want, and that's certainly not what I want.
Just answer a question. How did energy come here? And don't tell me it was something about the zone or the lines or whatever. How did they get here? Who called them and told them, come here, because the people in Jessup are still coal miners, they're stupid, they don't know what
Nobody
they're
ever
doing.
said that, and nobody called them to come here. They came to us.
How?
I'll